I want to speak today about Noah. So far we're doing a series from Adam to Abraham. How are you enjoying the series so far? Is it interesting and exciting? Good, alright. So we've covered Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and then after them we'll be coming to the story of Noah and the flood. You know, the story of Noah and the flood has intrigued and excited people for centuries. Even from the early 1800s, people have been on pursuit to find the elusive Ark of Noah. The Bible says it landed on the mountains of Ararat. Here we see a picture of the snow-covered mountains of Ararat, traditionally as they are now. You'll find it in Turkey, in the northeastern side of Turkey, bordering the country of Armenia. So that's where the traditional site of the landing of Noah's Ark is. In 1949, the US aeroplane was doing a reconnaissance flight over Turkey, and they took a photograph of the northeastern slope, and they found this, what they've named the Ararat anomaly. You'll see a little black thing in the corner there. They claim that that looks odd if you look at the rest of the features around it. So they claim that that could be the Ark of Noah. In 1908, a man by the name of George Agaponi, he and his uncle went up to the mountains of Ararat, and he claimed not only to see the Ark, but actually to walk upon the roof of the Ark. There's his little boy being put up onto stairs. A Turkish guide claimed to not only see the Ark, but taken photographs of it. In 1948, an earthquake and heavy rains uncovered an area at the slopes of Mount Ararat, not on the mountains itself. And what it looked like over here is, if you can look carefully, it looks like the shape of a boat, doesn't it? You'll see it. So they took photographs of this. It was actually in a Time magazine and everything. Geologists went out and they claimed it's just a normal geological structure, nothing too fancy. And then in the 1970s and 80s, a man by the name of Ron White went back there, and he actually claimed that this is in fact Noah's Ark. Today they actually have a tourist attraction. If you go to Turkey today, you'll see a sign that says Noah's Ark, and this is where they will guide you to. A man in World War II called Ed Davis, he was in a camp in Iran, and he had a good view of Mount Ararat, and he claimed to be walking one day in the other mountains of Ararat, and he claimed to have seen the Ark. They went back in 1996 and they found rocks that look like petrified wood. It looks like wood, doesn't it, if you look at it? So they claimed that could be the remains of Noah's Ark. A Frenchman called Mr. Nevada, in 1955 he went up and he claimed to have seen pieces of the Ark. There he is, one that he actually brought back down with him. A piece of timber that he claims can only be from Noah's Ark. In 2010, an expedition was led by a Hong Kong king. They claimed to not have found the Ark, but taken beautiful pictures of it, and even a video of the thing as well. On YouTube you can see this, I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes clip of the inside of Noah's Ark with the hay and all. What gets me about all these sensational sightings is the fact that Noah's Ark seems to move from mountain to mountain. Isn't that weird? Everybody who saw the Ark saw it at a different place at a different time. And you know, it's not even on Earth. Some people have claimed they've even found Noah's Ark on Mars. And I love this part here, Bible shocking. Yes, that's a shocker. That's even for God a shocker. What? These are the mountains of Ararat. Winter time they're covered in snow. During the summer months it's only the caps that are covered. And it's called Greater and Lesser Ararat. This is a bit of history about the mountains of Ararat. This is Greater Ararat and Lesser Ararat, because they're smaller than that one. They're very small. They're about half the size of Mount Everest. So they're pretty small comparatively. And what they actually are, you'll see their shape is a bit different. They've got cones, because they're actually volcanoes. The mountains of Ararat are pre-starter volcanoes. What happens over ages, it's actually dormant now, but was inactive from at least 200 years ago. It was an active volcano. The magma comes through the middle, pushes up, and starts forming layers down the mountain. So scientists and geologists have gone in and taken sediments of the mountain and to try and date of how old this mountain is. And what they found out is that the mountains of Ararat was actually formed after Noah's flood. That should surprise you. Yeah, thank you, Paul. These mountains of Ararat that everyone's looking for the Ark on were formed physically after the flood. So there's no way that Noah's Ark could have landed on these mountains, because they weren't there in existence. And you see, this is where people come into the thing and they presume too much, as usual. Because you see, they look around Armenia and Turkey and they see the tallest mountains there are these ones. The only mountains that are always covered with snow at the top. So they assume that the only way that Noah's Ark could have been preserved if it was in the ice. Therefore, they presume that these must be the mountains. But the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible doesn't say that there were mountains, plural, of Ararat. Ararat comes from a Hebrew word, Uitenhage. In the ancient times, this was the entire country and kingdom of Armenia. There's a lot of mountains in Armenia. So why pick these two? I believe they're looking at the wrong place. That's bottom line. They'll never find it on these mountains because it's not physically there. That's how all these stories that we hear, the sensational ones, they find the ark everywhere. And not one of the, if they found Noah's Ark, if any of these people found Noah's Ark, do you think it will be on CNN or Sky News? Maybe it would be like headlines. We're going to open the paper tomorrow and see Noah's Ark found. They have expeditions here, geoscientists, everyone taking photographs, but that hasn't happened. Some very spurious photographs taken, some pieces of timber found by people that they say is from the ark. It's not there because these mountains weren't in existence. But you know what? If they do find Noah's Ark there tomorrow, I'll be a fool first of all, but if they do find it, I'll rejoice. Because wow, that will be so important. This will be, you know what they said? This will be the greatest find ever in the history of mankind. If they find Noah's Ark, this will be the biggest historical find ever. And you know what? If they don't ever find Noah's Ark there, you know what? I'll still rejoice. Why? Because I believe what the Bible says. And the Bible says that there was a man called Noah, and that he built the ark, and that it did land on the mountains of Uitenhage. So if you don't believe me, we're going to read that right now. Open your Bibles to Genesis chapter 6, as we read about the story of Noah and the ark. And I trust you will find some new insight to this very old tale. Sorry, don't you want to actually read from the Bible? Alright, there we go. Thank you. Genesis chapter 6, we read 3 verses 5 to 8. 4.
The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on the earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made man on earth, and his heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I will wipe mankind whom I have created all from the face of the earth, man and animals, and creatures that move along the ground, and the birds of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord.
Amen. Thank you. Bless you, Danny. This is a story that you probably know from Sunday school. Whoever was taught this in Sunday school, put up your hands. All of us, yeah. And I know my wife's already smiling because you know what's coming. The facts of the story is pretty simple. There's 3 main facts. People were bad. God wanted to destroy everything with a flood, and He called Noah to build the ark. That's what we all know. You know that story about Noah's Ark. That's the part we know. But there is a part of the story that they didn't tell you in Sunday school. Remember, we started reading Genesis 6 from verse 5. The first 4 verses of that chapter is all important though. This is what it says. It says, and it came to pass when mankind began to multiply on the face of the earth, daughters were born unto them, and these sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they were fair, and they took themselves wives from all of which they chose. Genesis 6:4 says, the sons of God came into the daughters of men. They had relations, physical relations with these daughters of men, and they gave birth to their children, everyone can see that? Giants. Now that's a part of Noah's flood that we didn't see before, isn't it? Who are the sons of God? Angels. Do you know that these are the angels? And they're called sons of God because in the Bible, all angels are males. Sorry woman, there are no female angels out there, right? Because you can look as loud as you want. All the angels in the Bible are male. That's why they're called sons of God. Job 1 talks about the sons of God. So this is what happened. Remember, at this time in the history of the universe, there was God, there was angels, and now God created mankind. So in time, the angels were looking down on earth and seeing these women and saying, hey, they're pretty hot down there. You know what I mean? These chicks have got hot and they must have all been blonde. Alright, so the angels then came down and they were very gentlemanlike because they actually took them as wives first. What is it? They took them as wives first. And then they had physical relations with them. Now you can understand a spiritual heavenly being having physical relations with a mortal woman would create an abomination. And they gave birth to giants. All over the world for hundreds of years, there's been skeletal remains found. You can look that up on the internet. There's hundreds of these reports. The skeletal remains anywhere from 7 foot to 13, sometimes 18 foot skeletons found. Skeletons found in Alaska. Yes, skulls. I think it's in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. All around the world in museums, they have skulls and they have femurs and fingers of giants. So there's no lack of evidence that giants did exist. The Bible says in Genesis 6:4, and there were giants in the earth in those days. Why? Because there were giants in the earth in those days. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we get more. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. I've seen lots of pictures of giants, and once you actually go a bit further and look at the source, you'll find out that it's been photoshopped or something like that. So if you do ever see any sensational pictures, even of Noah's Ark, or giants, just go look and find out the source and just verify, because it's a lot of these things are fake. But I believe some of them are obviously very, very real. So the fact is that this is what happened. There were giants born. And you know what the word giant means? It comes from the Hebrew word Nephilim, which means bully or tyrant. That's what it means. So you can imagine these big bullies walk, and these weren't like big bullies. You want to stand up for a second? Just, I just want to show him out. This guy's pretty big, alright? But he's not a giant, thank you. A giant was anywhere from that door, double the door and triple the door. And they weren't just long and hard, they were as big as they were tall. These were giants of note. And they were bullies. So they walked around just taking over. Everywhere they step, this is ours, this is our land, this is our sheep, this is our, and that's what happened. And then it got so bad that the people got so bad that it says in Genesis 6:5, and the wickedness of man was so great. So you see, it wasn't only the men that caused this part of Noah's flood. God needed to wipe out the giants also. So it wasn't only man, it was the giants that he was walking in, but this abomination. So then God calls one man out of the whole world. Who is that man? Noah. Noah finds favor with God, and he says, just one man that's upright and righteous and looking towards me from the line of Seth. Remember, we spoke of the line of Seth, the good line. And Noah came from that line, and he was a good guy, and he didn't want to do all the bad stuff like these other guys are doing. And God called him and said, Noah, I want you to build an ark. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark. Cover it inside and out with pitch. This was like black tar, which basically kept the ark waterproof. And this is how you shall make it. The length shall be 300 cubits. A cubit is from here to here. It depends on how big and tall you are, but basically from finger to elbow. 300 cubits, 50 cubits, and 30 cubits. You shall make a window in the ark. You shall finish it from above, and set a door, only one door on the side, and you shall make it a lower and second and third deck. Quite a lot of detail, isn't it? So Noah's ark had 3 decks. It had a window, it had a door inside. And then the question that I need to ask is, well, what is an ark? What is an ark? Is it a boat? Is it a ship? You know that there's only 2 references in the Bible to the word ark. It was the ark of Noah and the ark of Moses. Who knows what that ark was? And he would say that. It's not. Completely different word. Who said ark of the covenant? Put up your hand. All of you. All of you are wrong. Do you want to know what the ark of Moses was? Exodus 2 says this, now a man from the house of Levi went to marry a Levite woman. This was the Levitical tribe, the priestly tribe. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when he saw that it was a fine baby, she hid him for 3 months. Who is this talking about? Moses. Well done. Let's read the next verse, King James Version. When she could no longer hide him, she took him an ark. Did you all see that? The ark of bulrushes, and David was slime and pitch the same as Noah's ark. And put the child therein and laid it in flags, and blah, blah, blah. And here you can see a good picture of the ark. A little rectangular basket. There's only 2 arks in the Bible. Noah's ark and this ark. The ark of the covenant is also called the ark. It's a bad translation. It's a completely different word. The word for ark in the Bible is the Hebrew word tavah. Everyone say tavah. Tavah. Say it again. Tavah. There you go. You can speak Hebrew. Well, tavah means container. But it's a very special container. The ark in the Bible is in reference to a special container that will float on water, that will save lives. You see the reference between Noah's ark and Moses' ark. They both float on water. They both was a container, and they both saved lives. If you look at the comparison between the two, there you can see a Hebrew translation, Tia, with a V in the middle, Tiba. Noah's ark, he was ordered to build the ark. It was to protect Noah and his family from the destruction of the flood. And Noah was delivered. Look at Moses, the same thing. His mother puts him in the basket. It will protect Moses from destruction, and Moses is delivered. You see that? The ark. There's two arks in the Bible. Noah's ark and Moses' ark. Most people have the idea that the ark was a ship or a boat. Have you ever seen pictures of Noah's ark looking like a ship or a boat? It wasn't. It was literally a container, a rectangular box. It didn't have to sail anywhere. People have said, Noah's ark hasn't got sails and a rudder, so how could it have? I think that was it. Hopefully, how did this thing sail? It didn't have to. All the ark could do was float. It had all the animals on and people, and Noah and his family, and the ark, all it did was float, and that's perfect for floating. And then if you look at the size of it, how big is that thing? Who saw the rugby yesterday? No one saw the rugby yesterday besides me and my wife, who shocked. This is a good comparison of how big the ark is. Michael, are you with me? This is it. So this is an American football field, but it's basically the same length as a rugby field. Who knows how long a rugby field is? 100 meters. Well done. I didn't know that. I have to go Google that. It's 100 meters. The ark is 137 meters. So it's a little bit bigger. But the next time you're watching a game, or next time you're there at a game, I want you to look up and just imagine this huge ark. So it's 137 meters and about 22 meters in. Alright, so it's about a third, I think, the width of our rugby field is 70. Sorry? 50, so it's half of the rugby field. There we go, so that's how big it is. Here's just another view of how it would look. If you look at a normal rugby field or American football field, that's how big the ark is. Did you know that before? Right, it's quite cool. I can actually see that like that. So you don't really realize how big this ark is until you see it compared to something. So he said to him, I want you to build an ark. This is how it must be 3 levels. It must have a window, it must have a door. And then I want you to get the animals. Bring all the animals out, 2 by 2. Now that's what the Sunday school teacher taught you. Yes, 2 by 2. Oh boy, you're going to phone yourself. Who's your Sunday school teacher? You know, I am. But all of you are going to phone your Sunday school teacher up because boy was she wrong. Genesis 7 says you must take with you 7. This is the Bible. Genesis chapter 7. It says you must take with you 7 of every kind of clean animal. The male and its mate. 2 of every kind of unclean animal. The male and its mate. And also 7 of every kind of bird. Male and female. To preserve the offspring on the face of the earth. So was it 2 by 2, Lorna? No, it wasn't. Shame. Ooh, your Sunday school teacher didn't get it today. What have you been teaching all this time? It's interesting what God gives us that detail. Take 7 of clean animals to 2 unclean animals. This means they had understanding of clean and unclean animals in the Bible. Long before the law was given. This was 1,500 years before Moses. Before Moses ever penned the words, unclean and clean, God already gave those instructions to Adam. Remember last time we spoke Cain and Abel? They didn't have a written law about what to offer and how to do it, but they knew. Why? Because God told them, instructed them how. So right at this time, Noah, they knew about clean and unclean animals. Why would you want 7 of clean animals? The logical answer might be to eat, because they could only eat clean animals, right? But up to this point, God didn't tell them they could eat animals. They could only eat fruit and vegetables and grain. So those animals, those 7s, weren't for eating. What were they for? They were for sacrifices. Well done. Remember last time, God was so pedantic about Cain's sacrifice. Why didn't he do the animal sacrifice? Now we know why. God is very, very pedantic about these offerings, the sacrifices. He said, you guys get yourselves 7 of every kind of clean animal, and during this year while you're on the ark in the flood, I want you to sacrifice these animals to me. So they had 7. So you sacrifice 1 week, 1 week. Eventually after 2, and you keep those 2. And hopefully they're not 2 males or 2 females. So that's pretty, that'll be disastrous, won't it? So they go check, male, female, male, but those clean animals were for sacrifices. Isn't that cool? And then obviously the other were just there. They were just the 2 unclean animals. They didn't have to worry about it. They didn't eat them, didn't sacrifice them. So they could just stay on the ark, keep them alive until the ark is finished, until the flood is finished. And then God said, okay, now the animals are on the ark. How long did it rain for? 40 days. It rained for 40 days. It rained for, but did it rain for 40 days? Remember, did it rain for? Let's look at that, shall we? This is what it says in Genesis 7. In the 600th year, everybody say 600? 600. It's going to come up shortly. In Noah's life, say he was 600 years old. Honestly, you can do that, right? He was 600 years old building. He was 500 when he started to build the ark. It took him 100 years to build that ark. Remember, it was primitive times back then. It says this in the second month of the 17th day. There was the same day the fountains of the great deep burst open, the floodgates of the sky were open, and the rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights. It says that, 40 days and 40 nights. But if we read the end of that chapter, it says this, and the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. So the end of that chapter, it says that there was still water for 150 days. If we carry on reading to the next chapter, it says the fountains of the deep and the floodgates of heaven were closed and the rain stopped. The rain stopped falling. When did it stop falling? After the 150 days. That's what I get out of it. I don't know what you get. So there's two schools of thought regarding this. The one is that it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. End of story, that's it. That's as far as we can look. We're not going to read the rest of the chapter. We're not going to read the next chapter. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Then the waters swelled up and the ark started to rise as the waters, and it went higher than the mountains. So that's the one. The other school of thought is that the 40 days and 40 days and nights of rain were torrential, hard, hurricane level 5 rains. Bad rain. And then eventually it broke up, the ark started to float up, to rise up, and then it continued to rain after that, but just a normal rain. Not like we had, no normal rain, not torrential hurricane. And then after the 150 days, what happened? The rain stopped. And that's kind of what I believe, because it makes biblical sense, that's what happened. For not to rain for another 150 days, it doesn't seem right neither. But anyway, two schools of thought, it doesn't blow your theology in any way. Whatever you believe, either one is biblical in Scripture. That's one of the first times you'll find that in the Bible, that there's two schools of thought that you can lay your head down by. So that's the flood. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and then it carried on for 150 days. People always say that Noah was on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights. The flood lasted 40 days and 40 nights. But it didn't. The flood lasted 300 days, 10 exact months. And I'll quickly just show you this part. Here we go, the flood starts. 40 days of rain. 150 days later it stops. The rain stops. And then it says that the water started to recede and go down. And that continued for another 150 days exactly. Another 5 months. You see that? That's what the Bible says. And then it says in the duration of the flood itself would be exactly 10 months. The flood, the waters. And then eventually it was time for him to get out. He didn't get out yet. He first sent the doves. And he stayed on the ark another 2 months and 10 days. So the duration of Noah and his family on the ark was 12 months and 10 days. It's quite interesting, isn't it? And that's what the Bible says. So when people say 40 days and 40 nights, it wasn't. They were actually on the ark for a year and 10 days. I can imagine being on the ark for a year and 10 days with all of those stinking animals. Hey, all they do is they have to clean up every day. Gross! That's besides the fact that you got your wife with you for 370 days on the ark. What would you do with these on the ark? Exactly, you'll throw overboard. No, he wasn't drunk, he got drunk after that. And boy, I know why now. The whole story of Noah's Ark is just a beautiful, exciting story, but it does point to something. And who does it point to? It points to Jesus Christ. Every chapter in Genesis so far as we read, something happened about Jesus. The Ark represents Jesus Christ. Whose idea was the Ark? Was it Noah's or God's? It was God's. Noah didn't stand up and say, hey, I'm going to save the world, I'm going to build myself an ark and to get the hell out of here. No, he didn't. God said, listen, there's wickedness on this place. And I want you to build an ark. This is my plan, this is my idea. This is how you can build it. It was God's idea. The flood, the waters represent sin. Bless you. And in this life, the flood waters of sin just unendable. We are born into sin as offspring of Adam. There's no way we can get it. There's no way we're going to save ourselves. No matter how much we try to wake up every day and say, I'm going to save myself by doing all these good works. I'm going to come to church and I'm going to do this and I'm going to feed the poor. That will not get you anywhere. That's not going to save you. God said, listen, you can't do it yourself, so I'm going to help you. I'm going to make a way where you can't make a way. I'm going to send you someone who's going to take it all away. And his name is Jesus. How many doors are on that altar? Remember how many doors were on? One. Well done. Were there 3 or 4 or 5? No, there was only one because there's only one way to be saved. Yeah, you did that. I like that. This is what Jesus says in John 14. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. You know, there's not 3 ways to be saved. There's not 2 ways to be saved. There's only one way to be saved. And that's through Jesus Christ. Jesus says in John 10, I am the door. I am the door. If anybody enters through me, he will be saved. You know, we've got to be politically correct nowadays. Especially ministers. We've got to be careful what we say, not to offend certain sects, religions, or cults. I don't care. I don't give a holy hoot what they say. I believe that there's only one person that can save you. And his name is Jesus. There is no other way you're going to get into heaven. Confucius can't do it. Muhammad can't do it. Allah can't do it. The only person that's going to get you saved is Jesus Christ. Man, that's a simple gospel, isn't it? And now I want you to see this ark. And you see it in the waters. And the waters are smashing up against it. Do you see it? Do you visualize it? And man, the floods are coming. The rains are coming and smacking that ark, smacking that ark. But the people inside are safe, aren't they? Nobody's family are in there, they're safe. And that's what Jesus Christ done for us. He took the punishment of sin so we could be safe. As Christians, as long as we are in Jesus, we are safe. But the sin around, what about all the beatings and the batterings and the bruisings that the ark took? Jesus took it for you too. There's one amazing passage that I want you to write down, Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. This is Isaiah, Old Testament. He's prophesying again about the future Messiah that's going to come. Jesus. He's a prophecy against Jesus, the Messiah. And this is what he says. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering. Yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced. Jesus was pierced for our transgressions, our sins. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him. By his wounds we are healed. We are like sheep gone astray, each of us turned his own way. And the Lord has laid upon him, Jesus, the iniquity and the sins of all. Jesus took it all for us. We should have taken that punishment of sin. We should go straight to hell, but God said, no, I want to make a way. I'm going to put all of this in Jesus. And he's going to take all the punishment of sin so you and I could be safe in Jesus. Isn't that a beautiful picture of the ark? Jesus is the ark. Alright, we're going to finish up with one more riddle. What chapter did we discuss last week about the hidden message?
4.
5.
Yeah.
Genesis 5. Yeah, we done Genesis 4, but the hidden message was in Genesis 5, remember? And that was all about the names of the genealogy of Adam right down to Noah, the 10 generations. And we discussed the names. Remember the names? It said this, man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down teaching, and by his death will bring the despairing rest. Remember that? Awesome, man. Beautiful. The gospel of Jesus in Genesis chapter 5. But now that same chapter holds another riddle, another secret, another message. And that is not to do with the names, but to do with the ages of the people. And just glance on all those ages quick. Those oaks are pretty bloody old if you ask me, aren't they? Everyone did go to say or not? You're not 969. So now what God has given us in the years of these people is something amazing too. And we're going to go through this quick. I hope you got your thinking caps on, your number. Who's good with maths here? Linda, you're going to be a maths person. Alright. It says this in Genesis 5. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. Alright. It says this, when Methuselah lived 187, he became the father of Lamech, Lamech the father of Noah. Everybody write down or have in your mind 187. Have you got it? Say 187.
187.
Okay, you got that part. Okay, you got that, 187. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son and named him Noah. Now, what is 182 plus 187?
369.
369, well done, all of you. 369. Okay, you got that. My question about him is, how old was Noah when the flood came? 600. What is 600 plus 369? 969. And if you read verse 27, it says, altogether Methuselah lived 969. What we just ascertained here was, when this man died, the flood came. Can you believe it? When he died, the first raindrop that fell, Methuselah died. And he lived 969 years. His name means, this is what his name means in Hebrew. When it comes, he will die. That's what his name means. When what comes? The flood. His father Enoch, when he was born, he prophesied of his life and said, Methuselah, you're going to live, but when you die, judgment will come. So Enoch knew about the flood when his son Methuselah was born. God knew about the flood when Methuselah was born. Do you know that? And now, if you're thinking about that, God knew about the flood 969 years before it happened. He planned it already. He said, Enoch, I'm going to bring judgment upon this world. There's going to be a flood coming. And it's going to start by your son. And then a year went by and God saw the wickedness of man. He said, man, I've got to bring this flood. I've got to bring the flood. But he didn't. 10 years, 40 years, 100, 200, 300 years went by. And God said, I've got to do something. But he didn't. Why? Because he loved people so much. He just loved them. He thought, man, I don't want to kill these people. I don't want to destroy them. I want to give them a chance. 400 years, 500, 600, 900 years. God waited patiently for man to repent and to turn back to him from their wicked ways, but they didn't. They just didn't. God said, that's it. That's it. Noah, build your ark. The flood's coming. And when Methuselah lived 969 years, God waited nearly 1,000 years before he pressed that button for the flood waters to come. Man, that is a good God. You know, we always think that judgment, God killed 1,000 people, millions of people, but he killed so many people, and God's so wicked. He's not wicked and evil. He's a good, faithful, patient, long-suffering God. That's what Peter says. It says he's long-suffering towards us. He does not will that any should die or perish, but all should come to everlasting life. That is a prophecy about Methuselah, because God waited 969 years before he finally had it. And then the flood came. So I hope you got that cool one. Next week there's one more riddle. I don't know where it is, but it's not in Genesis 5 here. The story of Noah's Ark is a beautiful story. I hope you learned something new today about it. Think about it like this. Noah was a righteous man in an unrighteous world. He was a good guy, yet he still went through the flood. How many of you have been through a flood or storm in the last year? Put up your hand if you've been through something bad in the last year. Only me and Jock, and my wife. You haven't been through anything. You got me every day. You shouldn't go into storms every day of your life. You go through things. The Bible never promises as Christians, and even as good as you are, that you won't go through things. You won't go through storms and floods. But the Bible does guarantee that while you're in that storm, if your heart and spirit and mind in the right place, you'll be safe in the ark. And the ark is Jesus. That's it. Amen. So when you come out of this flood in your world, God will always bring you out of the flood. Remember, you're going to be higher than you were before, because the ark went up. And where did they land? On the mountaintops of praise. You might be in the flood and the storm right now, but God's got you on your way to the mountaintops of praise. You just got to hang in there. Keep the faith. Keep running the good race and the good fight. And stay in the ark. If you do that, and I believe and declare, not only will you rise to a new level of your destiny upon the mountaintops of praise, but you'll become everything that God created you to be. In whose name? In Jesus' name. Well done, God.